The next major trigger that we hear a lot in the addiction world is loneliness. Now, let's talk real quick about what loneliness is. What is it that we're actually experiencing? And most of us, if not everyone, has felt loneliness. A lot of these triggers are just natural experiences of life. Loneliness is an emotion. It is something we feel. There is a biological impact or change in us as well, hormones and chemicals kind of jumping around and things like that. But at the end of the day, it's in us. It's an emotion, right? And with emotions, they have a function. There's a reason. Just like with anger, loneliness, the function that it has is that, hey, you are alone. And being social creatures, we want to be connected. And in that sense, so loneliness comes up and says, hey, you need to reach out to somebody. You feel alone. You feel disconnected. You feel isolated. You're in danger. And that's an uncomfortable place to feel. Right? And again, as social creatures, being alone means possible death, and that we're being isolated by the predators out there trying to kill us and hunt us down. So the loneliness comes up in a sense to be like, you should be uncomfortable. You should be feeling off, and you need connection. Now, a lot of us in the addiction world feeling alone or feeling any sort of discomfort and unease triggers in us the desire to act out and find a quick fix, something that we can go to real fast to numb out or try to ease that pain. And a lot of times we are doing that in ways that in the long run don't feed that don't really build us up in that. And let's say there is some kind of work out there around pornography specifically, that the more that we engage in that, the less ability we have to have real meaningful connections, because it doesn't trigger the same dopamine cycles and circuits that would generally be what we use to lean on to fulfill that connective bridge where we actually feel the easing and that disconnect go away. So this idea, because in that realm we might be around 100,000 people and still feel very disconnected, still feel very alone. And again, we feel it in our body, our mind, our souls telling us, hey, you are isolated. You're not connected. You need to reach out and find support or find somebody who understands you. And with that comes the necessity for us to take responsibility of what we're feeling, of what we're experiencing, and do something real. Do the work, make the sacrifice, put something out there. And so there's so many things that we can do in our day and age to find people we can relate with, real people who we can relate with. Because again, we're in the age of social media, we're in the age of AI, we're in the age of likes and followers and friends, but we don't really have the friendship, the connection, that emotional support. So taking this on, being like, okay, I'm feeling loneliness, I'm feeling the discomfort, I'm feeling isolated and left out. What can I do to reach out? And there's a capacity, there's a limit to how much our brain, how many connections and emotional ties we can really have, and that can be built, but on average about 150 of those connections. So even if we had 100,000 people online, we're not going to have that intimate, close connection, that vulnerability, that sincerity that is reciprocated to where we feel the loneliness dissipate and go away. So what I would encourage you to do is, if you're feeling this loneliness a lot or consistently, or if that is the main trigger for you of feeling disconnected and losing yourself in the addiction, pick five. Let's just pick five people, right? And this comes from also this number specific because we become like the research out there, we become like the five people who are closest to us. So we're going to build the team of the people you want to be like. So pick the five people in your realm of influence, in your circle, in your space where you can actually make a connection with consistently and intentionally, and pick five of them and say, these are the people. This is my team. This is my crew who I want to be like and who I want to feel connected with. Now, that could be your spouse, that can be a mentor, a friend, an acquaintance, it could be somebody, a buddy from work, picking somebody that you kind of respect, somebody that you can kind of trust. You might not trust 100% yet, but this idea of who do you feel like might be the easiest or the best to connect with so that you become like them, so that you feel like you want to connect with them, that you have the desire to do so, and start coming up with a plan of how can you be their friend? How can you be the kind of friend that you would want them to be for you? How can you talk to them? How can you serve them? How can you give them a compliment or show them love or show them connection, show them support? And thinking through that idea of, okay, what kind of friend do I want to have? And I'm going to be that friend for them. I'm going to reach out. I'm going to be honest and sincere. I'm going to be real with them. Now, can take a lot of courage, and so you don't have to jump in all at once, sharing and word vomiting everything that you've ever been through. But picking these 5 people out and taking a step day by day to reach out to them, to make a connection. Be like, hey, I was thinking about you today. How are you doing? What's going on in your life? Or hey, you're this is one I've heard from people is you have the most amazing shoes. Where did you get those? And that just little comment triggered a connecting force for and a friendship that lasted years. Putting ourselves out there in that vulnerable state, doing the work to ease the dis-ease and allowing ourselves to open up and be connected. Part of the issue with an addiction is the secrecy, the lies, and the hiding. And as we build up those walls and build ourselves a little refuge to be ourselves within our own selves and allow ourselves to feed into the addiction, we really are putting up walls and fences, blocking people from actually connecting with us. So even if they do come and we have this conversation with everything that we hide from the most important people in our lives, we are always going to feel like they don't love me. They don't care about me. They only care about the mask that I put on. They only care about this front that I have out there because they don't really know who I am. And so inadvertently, we are shooting ourselves in the foot when we try to hide our addictions and hide ourselves and hide everything. I'm not saying you have to open up to everybody and everything and put it out there, but finding those people, finding some people, and again, I'm going to encourage you to find 5 people that you can just be yourself and practice being yourself with those 5 people. And if it opens up to more, great. Or if you feel like this is good enough, awesome. Or if you only need 1 or 2, but start. I would encourage you shoot for that 5, that number 5 people, and start thinking through how can I connect with them? How can I serve them? How can I show love to them? How can I be the friend that I need, but to them? With the hope that they will then reciprocate that same intention, that same connection to you. You have the power, you have the influence, and have the courage if you will take it.